Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Where's that coyote this morning, Joe?
Greendale Community Center. It's a good place to have a wedding social or just a social, I'll tell you.
I played hockey there
South
back in the
Saint Vital.
day. Yeah, for sure. Back in the day against the Greendale. I don't know what they're. Someone on the text line will tell us what they were called back
Moniker?
in the day. The Greendale.
From
Yeah,
Greendale?
their nickname.
I don't know it either, actually. Curbs.
I wonder if they're still
Why
in
would
ODR.
you even ask me?
I'm just, just in case. It's a Hail Mary pass.
I mean, I could just pull something out and just go with it confidently
Greendale.
like I usually do.
Do it.
You know what? Give it a shot.
Yeah, try
Give it a shot.
Falcon. Oh, sorry.
Well, don't say it yet. Maybe
I
she'll
was
get
going to
it.
say the Greendale Grasshoppers.
That's a good guess.
Grasshoppers, not bad.
Not bad.
Someone's on the text line with Falcons.
Okay,
Falcons.
well,
The
honestly,
Greendale Falcons.
the Greendale Grasshoppers sound way better.
Well, you went against the odds. You don't have to insult the person that came up with Falcons. It's quite
I
common.
don't know, though. Usually a nickname is something sort of tough. A grasshopper.
Yeah.
Grasshoppers are intimidating.
What? Are they?
Yes, they are. People don't like them jumping all over them in the summertime.
By the thousands. I think one or two's okay. Like you can just flick them off. or-
Well, a team is more than
They're a
just one or
food
two.
now. They're a food now. I think it's in
Yes.
Seattle or something that they offer up like chocolate
I
covered.
think you're thinking of crickets.
or
No,
they-
you know why they came to mind? Because I was reading earlier
sorry,
this
we're not
morning.
going to finish the other discussion.
You know what? I got something to say here.
Sorry, we were just talking.
The reason grasshoppers came to mind is because you were saying that eating them improves. I just read this improves your sleep, hair, and libido. That's why I brought.
Eating
That's why-
Grasshoppers have become a thing.
Yes.
But I think you're right. Crickets might be another food choice that I'm never going to try in my life.
No, I'll never touch
Ants,
crickets.
ants, they say too, chocolate-covered ants.
Well, I don't think an insect being annoying makes it a tough nickname, though. Like, for example, fruit flies. We had one in here.
Oh, those
They're
things-
annoying. You don't see the
They're the
Arizona
only-
fruit flies as a sports team.
I'm going to tell you something about fruit flies. They're the only insect in the world that cannot get life insurance. They live forever, those damn things.
Well, that's why they're intimidating because you can't kill them.
Yeah.
The fruit flies.
Yeah.
It's not a tough name, though.
Yeah, again, I don't find them intimidating.
Grasshoppers, they hop in the grass. I don't know. Curbs.
It's not terrible. Like, there are worse nicknames than a grasshopper.
You know what? You know what a grasshopper is? I'm telling you right now. I'm going to throw that name at my wife, Christy. She teaches kindergarten. That's what you call one day of students. Oh, hey, it's the ladybugs, or oh, it's the grasshoppers. That's not a team name.
Timbit soccer team.
Timbit soccer
Little
team. They're the
kids.
grasshoppers. But
Yeah.
anything over the age of maybe 6 or 7.
Coming up this weekend.
Yeah, the
it's
Beatles.
The Miami Dolphins hosting the New York Grasshoppers.
The
I
most
think it would
intimidating
be-
nickname in sports today.
Anyway, watch out for a coyote in the green.
Don't worry about the grasshoppers out there.
Philly Joe Kirby
Philly Joe and Kirby.
podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast. Got something to say?
Okay, I'll say it.
Well, you should probably call the bone phone and let her rip.
It actually feels nice to finally say it out loud.
780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
Oh my God, Winnipeg Construction. Can you please get your shit together? I'm not asking for Chief Peguis to be completely open, but can we just do it in sections so we don't f*** over every single person? Thank you very much. Love you, city.
I'm thinking, and I feel like you can tell when the person is actually in the construction, like not moving, that you can feel that frustration. And hey, there's construction everywhere right now at a lot of areas all over Winnipeg, not moving very fast. Walker, Texas Ranger, wants to reignite the discussion about zippering.
Boom! The Texas Ranger again. I have another beef about people that don't know how to zipper. My gosh, how many times do we have to talk about it, discuss it, explain it, and it's just not sinking in? You guys a bunch of frickin' hillbillies out there or what? Get it right. Know it. Learn it. Do it.
Hillbilly Jim, by the way, and he's passed away, right? Like
I can't tell you for sure.
one of the all-time greats. I loved that guy, wrestling in overalls, old school.
Absolutely.
How comfortable can
Uncle
those be
Elmer, remember?
to wrestle in?
But his Uncle Elmer got married right in the middle of the wrestling ring.
Uncle Elmer used to bring the
Sure.
chicken parts into the ring, right?
Yep.
Or the pork.
The only scary hillbillies I've ever come across in my life was the movie Deliverance. We brought it up during the Banjo Bowl. And I'm telling you, Kirby, you're not going to use that for...
Well, not that movie, but
No.
trust me, I got relatives in Tennessee on my dad's side of the family that might fall into that category.
Not Deliverance.
No, you
don't.
haven't
Not to
seen
the
this movie.
no, like I said, it's not to that extent.
You
but-
gotta see this movie.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't need to see it because you talk about it all the time, and
Wow.
it sounds like I don't need to see it.
I'll tell you right now, I have never been on a canoe.
You talk
for
about
two
this all the
reasons.
time.
For
Yes.
2 reasons. That was one of them.
The canoe, yes.
Joe has
That
always,
canoe leads down.
He's always
bad
wanted
path.
to canoe, and because of that movie, he just will never do it.
Joe, if you ever want to get back into canoeing, we support you.
No, I just told you I've never been on a canoe, and there's 2 reasons. One of them is that movie. There's no getting back on a canoe. What part of the story do you not listen to?
A lot of it, obviously.
Yes.
Get back on one. All right. Vacuums came up on the show yesterday, and this caller here was amazed at my knowledge of them.
Wow, Philly. Never knew you used to sell vacuums. You were ripping those names off like you sold them on a daily.
So I don't vacuum very much anymore because my wife is very anal about cleaning the house. Like I cannot. It's not
Anymore. There was
right.
a time where you vacuumed a lot.
Oh, there was a time when I loved it. If I was having people
That's
over,
when you had the old filter queen.
That's right.
That's the old school. Once you lost that vacuum, your whole confidence was shattered.
But she is a connoisseur of a
She loves it,
high
yes.
quality vacuum. So that's why I hear a lot about them. I don't know if I should get a Dyson.
Every year on her birthday, she can't wait to get the latest model.
To clean up after you and the boys.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
just.
Favorite thing to do.
Only the top of the line stuff, though, Kirby.
She deserves top of the line.
The Bone Phone Hooligan having some trouble with his new cable.
Got a new modem and a new wireless PVR boxes, I guess, but the size of bigger cell phone, whatever. So the new control doesn't have so when you record something, you can't stop the program you recorded. It doesn't have a stop button like the previous one did. And the previous remote, you'd have a skip button. I believe it was 15-second skip, commercials, say between plays, NFL. It's a 5-minute skip. Well, for sakes, you hit that, you got to hit rewind. Like, honest to God. I mean, that's, advanced technology. I mean, you can't stop. I phone a buddy, he has to say, you can't stop a recording.
Can you imagine when he calls the cable tech and they're
my God.
talking to the hooligan?
Live chat is the way for Hooligan to go. I will say this, Hooligan. You don't have to stop the live record. There is copious amounts of time that you have available to you for a program. So once the time limit runs out for you, then you just hit the stop and then the escape or exit, and then the delete button will come up.
Oh, okay.
I suggest a
Easy.
deep breath as well.
Yeah.
For hooligan? No.
I'll be there for the Hooligan.
Yeah, Joe's
I'll
got
help him out.
Yeah. Hey, any more problems, hooligan? Call Joe. He'll help you.
You
out
got
with
it,
your
buddy.
Cable. Yeah.
Joe's got you.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
It's been raining a lot in the last 24 hours.
How about that tornado warning that came out yesterday?
Yeah, no doubt.
That was a little scary for a few people.
Yeah, it didn't seem to hit, which is always nice. But showers, thunderstorms, that all supposed to end this morning. Could be foggy in some spots. It'll be humid today. No rain tonight. Partly cloudy, so that's good
there
for the
we
Gold
go.
Eyes game. And then tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. There's a chance of showers and that kind of stuff for the next couple of days for Wednesday and Thursday, but doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean the grass was getting pretty dry for a while there. We didn't get a lot of rain.
You'll be okay now after today.
It's gonna be green. Yeah.
The sky was it was quite a show this morning when I got up at 2 a.m. It was just it was like a strobe light going off
Yeah,
with lightning.
a lot
It was
of lightning.
super cool to watch.
Yeah, and you mentioned the tornado warning when we were on our way back from Moosomin last night or
Yeah.
late yesterday afternoon. It's always, whether you're in the direct area that it's going to happen or not, when that alert comes over and takes over your radio station.
Who gave you the first alert on the way back? And hey, listen,
Oh, yes.
for the record, I'm going to say I did have to ask you. I said, did we hit Brandon already? We were going to make a stop in Brandon for a coffee. And we just kept driving. That's how well the prairies are sometimes. Sometimes you just keep driving
You're
and
a
don't
machine.
realize.
You're a machine.
But I told you the knee was acting up a bit, and I looked up and I said, oh, I'm not a big fan of those clouds. More could be coming. And all of a sudden, this is Kirby in the front seat with me, by the way. Kirby didn't think much of it. And then all of a sudden, about, 20 minutes later, you heard the beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
We were listening to Adam Kane in the afternoon, wonderful program. And you got our beep, 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 beep. And then the alert came on, the official one with the automated voice. All of a sudden, Kirby starts freaking out.
Yeah.
And I said, what did I just tell you 20 minutes ago?
You
Nothing.
knew it.
And then you just told us while we were under that situation that you had just watched Twisters.
I watched Twisters the night before.
Isn't it? Oh, is it Twister?
No, I didn't watch the one with Helen Hunt. I watched the other one.
The newer one
newer
is
one.
Twister.
Oh,
It's
Twist
not
an
great.
S.
It's
All
not
right.
great. I mean, if you like the whole Twisters thing and the chasing, there's some parts. The acting wasn't that great in it. But if you like seeing bodies and cars and houses flying around because of Twisters.
Well, the CGI, I would
Yeah, it's
imagine,
good.
is much better this time. I mean, I remember the cow in the first movie.
That was
Helen
crazy.
Hunt was wearing a white tank top
She
in
was
the first one.
fantastic.
There was no CGI.
That's what you remember from the movie?
That's all he remembers.
Well, and the Twisters.
for 2 full hours, she had that tank top on.
My God, I was
Oh
young.
my
I was
God.
young
Oh,
during
yeah.
that movie, Kirby.
was
That's
on-
why you can go back and watch movies.
Helen Hunt was a great actress.
Very
You
good.
don't
Mad
see her,
about you.
you
Great
don't
show.
see her in a lot of things.
No, she left Hollywood, I think.
Nowadays, yeah. I mean, the original Twister was how many years ago?
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago?
And
25 years ago?
and I forgot
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton was very
And
good.
he passed away.
Yeah, he was here a couple of years before he passed. Actually, right in our studio, Howard Manshine got a picture with him. He was
Really?
having lunch at Stella's next door when he used to be next door.
Huh.
I have a friend who has a cat named Helen Hunt because they love the movie Twister.
That's crazy.
Really?
Good for them.
I never did
Yeah.
my cat Helen Hunt,
No.
but that's good.
Anyway, we avoided the tornado. As far as we
Yes.
know, the tornado didn't,
I don't think it touched down anywhere in Manitoba.
I didn't see anything this morning.
But some heavy winds and rain, of course, might have
Yeah.
affected. They were calling for hail in some areas too. So, southeast Manitoba.
Okay. I did get out of the car and run looking for low ground because that's what you're supposed to do in a tornado.
Well, I told you got to find a culvert.
You jumped out
And
of
get
that
in
car
there.
like it was
Ran.
Starsky and Hutch or something. Pull over.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
PJK podcast. It's a fun podcast. It really is. The fun never stops with our podcast. That's what they say. That's in the comments. I saw that once on the podcast. The fun never stops from an anonymous podcast subscriber. And I'm like, that is fantastic. That's what you want to hear. The fun never stops.
They wanted to, I guess, give their full thought without giving their name.
Yeah.
When you go out on a limb like that
Right.
and you don't want to give your name, it makes sense.
I wouldn't want to give my name either.
No, it's a polarizing
Was it a 5
opinion.
star, at least,
It was
or
a
4.5?
5-star. It was a 5-star, and the fun never stops. People will come at you for an opinion like that, so that's why they probably kept
Didn't
it
want their
anonymous.
name.
Someone could jump in and go, I don't know. Sometimes the fun stops, and disagree with them.
Well,
So,
because it has to stop eventually.
no, I disagree, Kirby. The fun is always going on.
I
on
listened
this
to the
podcast.
show.
Okay, I admit it. I wrote the review.
I was going to say, it has to be somebody we know.
Wait, actually, if I look closer, it was purple hair _, living my best life. Made that review.
Oh, that's one of my burner accounts.
That's a long address.
Joe, you love the facts, and you gave us one. You gave us one when the mics were off.
I
Fire
read
it
a
up.
stat. If you're a football fan, this was interesting. It was 104 years ago that the National Football League gets organized in Canton, Ohio. That's where they have the Hall of Fame. And 12 teams come to the party. They paid a fee of $100 each to obtain franchises.
Oh,
So think about
$100.
this. Like, you talk to a friend or a relative that bought their house like 30 years ago. Hey, what did you pay for your house? What's it worth now? Well, to give you this in perspective, the fee was $100 for a franchise. The current value of the Dallas Cowboys alone is $10.3 billion, 104 years.
That is gross.
So you're saying I could go and tell people, back in the day,
time machine.
I could have afforded
Yeah. Well, no,
an
because
NHL
No,
or
no NFL. Wrong sport.
maybe just don't have the conversation.
But back then, being able to pay $100 was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money back
104
then,
years
yes.
ago on a risk, really, because it was a gamble. Nobody knew that this league was ever going to really get organized.
And those old school players, Like leather helmets. I guarantee you they played offense and defense. They probably all had second jobs in the coal mine.
Yeah.
Like the old school athlete is not like today.
If you remember at one time, the Canadian Football League, some of the players got paid better up here than they did playing in the U.S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
The things that used to happen in old school sports, I'm sorry, this is a bit of a vague story, but I've seen it somewhere where one of the Grey Cups had to be stopped because they lost the football. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And they show the highlights of this, and all the fans are like right on the sidelines on top of the game, and we can't find the football. The game will have to be postponed. Like, what?
It's in the archives. that video footage is in the archive. But so, Kirby, next time you're holding a $100 bill, you never know what it's going to really be worth.
That's what I'm going to tell people.
Did you know? That's how that story starts. Did you know, Kirby? Next time you're at one of your vegetarian parties, I know you go to a lot.
I always need a good conversation starter at those parties.
Oh, absolutely.
That's PJK Extra.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Tell you what, you mentioned Helen Hunt. You mentioned how great she looked in her tank top in Twister years ago.
Good movie.
With the late Bill Paxton. You know who else was in that? Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, great actor.
Paxton and Seymour Hoffman no longer with us. Two excellent actors.
Yeah.
That's sad. But anyway.
Hoffman was a tortured soul, though, right? And Paxton had, I think it was a heart attack.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, Twister was a good cast, good movie, and it came up because of the tornado warning yesterday afternoon in parts of Manitoba.
And we were talking about the movies, of course, and we did get hail. Hot Dog Guy let us know in Steinbach they did get the hail that they were calling for on that advisory. But Kirby said she saw the movie during the pandemic, actually, the original Twister from 1996 or something. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy it? Because some movies don't. Yeah. I mean, like Top Gun's a perfect example. The new one, fantastic. The original one was okay at its time, but I mean, when you watch it now, like with no real CGI and everything in it, really makes a difference, right?
That's the whole thing, is just, the advancement in technology in terms of movies that we have to depict something like a tornado scene is much better. But for me, it was nostalgic because I remember when that movie first came out, seeing it.
Twister.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had seen it years ago.
Oh,
yeah, when it first came out. So when the pandemic was happening, I just remember being like, I want to watch like a movie from back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Paxton had done a lot of movies and died pretty young. But I'll tell you what, if you're looking for an old series to watch, and it's an HBO series, when they were making the series like Sopranos and that, it's called Big Love. And it's about him being a polygamist. They're coming from a polygamist family, and they live in that part of the world. And he owns not a department store, but a home hardware store. And there's people that come in that are against it totally, and he's living their lives with these wives living right next door to each other with no fence in the backyard. And it gets dark at times, but Harry Dean Stanton is in this. It's a great TV series, and it's short enough if you're looking for an old series.
And we also got a bunch of people letting us know about good Helen Hunt movies.
Yeah.
Because she came up, she was one of the stars of Twister, and you kind of forget how many good movies and good shows Helen Hunt was in.
Pay It Forward came up. Your wife will love it, Phil. It's a romantic drama with Bon Jovi in it, your arch nemesis.
Yes.
Keep that out of my house.
Maybe you get her Greg Kinnear and Jack Nicholson, and as good as it gets. You're safe with that one.
I'll do that one.
That was a good movie.
It was good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And she was in Mad About You, the TV show, which was pretty good. Ran before Seinfeld on NBC.
Paul Rudder? Paul Ryder.
Riser.
Rudder.
Paul Ryder.
Paul.
That guy.
Like
rhymes with.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Let me tell you, that Bronco burger, I'm still digesting it, and I say that as a compliment. That was a dense burger, like a lot happening in there.
But you got it down, Matt, and you didn't even take very many breaths. Yes, I know. I was sitting right across
like
from
a Komodo dragon.
Oh my God, I felt like I had to have a shield on. I mean, I could have had like a flying piece of lettuce or like a piece of bun in me.
I took a piece of bacon. Almost took Joe's eye out.
It was unbelievable. It was quite the experience. knowing that
What
once
part?
we pulled in on the Trans-Canada Highway, took a left, Moosomin, Main Street. That's what the GPS said. Mm-hmm. Right there, you take a left turn. There's the Red Barn Park. A few Manitoba plates when we walked in, sat down, and before Andre could ask you what you were drinking, I was the last one in, and you had already ordered me a Diet Coke because I was driving, because that was nice of you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right? Sat down. That menu was open. He spent about an hour out of the whole trip to Moosomin looking online at the menu. His data package with Rogers has got through the roof, I'm telling you, on this trip. And he knew exactly what he was having. I kind of knew. The pressure was on you. You did pretty good. You took about 7 minutes from the usual 15 to decide,
God
even though we had
forbid.
3 hours and 40 minutes to get there.
I was all over her, though, to decide.
Started with nachos. We need a
Yeah.
nappy.
The
Went with
nachos,
something simple that, most places, right? Because people were wondering what we were going to have. So I thought nachos were a nice choice.
Good start,
We
yeah.
didn't put any protein on it, Kirby, for your sake.
Well, that's okay because I only ate 2 chips anyways.
That's
You
all
only
you had?
2 chips and we didn't put chicken on those
Why?
things?
I was thinking like I'm a very conscious eater at the table. Like if we're sharing something, like I'm always taking note. Like okay, make sure like you don't take all of the chips with
no
the
way.
cheese on there.
Every
like
man.
leave some
You
for
see who
others.
you're seen with? The other two, we were like a choir. We were humming and singing while we were eating those nachos.
Like I legitimately only had 2 chips. Because we were talking to the owner, Dano, at the time, too. So I did not want to be rude either and eat. But you guys, man, you went to town.
Dan Davidson.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Dan knew, though, at some point you get up when people are starting to eat and you move away.
Yeah, he did.
Yes,
You
eventually.
can't be
yes,
doing that.
yeah, for
we had a
sure.
nice chat with him, and then he said he'd come back, and he did. But you ordered the Bronco burger. That's a double patty.
Yeah, bacon.
I
double
looked
patties.
at that, and here's the thing. I'm telling you, I tell people this all the time. You look at Phil, and then you look at me, and everybody thinks I'm the guy that eats the most. And I sat there, and I go, there's no way I'm eating a Bronco. Because everybody was telling us to eat the Bronco. 2 patties. I said, I can't do that. So I just had the regular bacon double cheeseburger. I think,
Yeah,
no, not
that's what
double.
you-
Not a double.
There was
Bacon
no doubt. It was
cheeseburger.
just standard.
And
You
the
were
fries.
going to get a double, though. But then you said, I
I
just
know.
want one.
And then Mr. I wear a medium shirt decides, like, this guy's metabolism must be through the roof.
Multiple people had told me to get the Bronco burger.
Yes.
I couldn't not get it. I had to.
And then I asked Kirby what she had there, and it was a plate full of chopped up potatoes and broccoli. There's no way I was ordering it. What was that?
They call it the naughty tater. And I thought the name alone was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan was excited that you had bought it, and he said they're adding then you guys had a discussion about tofu. That's probably why you weren't eating the chips, because Phil and I, you guys having a conversation about tofu. We were left right out of it.
We're out of this. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you will not find a nicer person than Dan Davidson
Yeah.
when you walk in to the Red Barn. I do highly recommend it for anybody ever traveling west. I would never, ever go west again without making a stop at the Red Barn just because of Dan.
He's a good guy. Former Melville millionaire.
Yeah.
His boy played in the Western Hockey League. He's going to law school at the U of A now. Like, we had a great chat with Dan.
You basically were invited out with the family.
Well, we tried to get him.
We did.
We tried
yeah.
to invite.
It was nice.
We tried to get ourselves invited over to his acreage and maybe stay a couple of days, but he wasn't.
He said he was playing the game, right? He was playing the game, and to be honest, I think he gave us a wrong address. Anyway, just in case.
How about that road trip, though? Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah,
Next, we need a bit of a breather, I think. Because,
Yeah, we'll talk about that, like the actual car ride, a little bit later.
8 hours.
Yeah, that's
in
a long
vehicle
time.
No,
together.
it was a little less than that. We made good
Yeah,
time.
you did make good time. Yeah.
Because Mario Andretti over here, man, you are something on the highway.
Goggles Paisano from the Flintstones.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
We talked about the actual Red Barn restaurant in Moosomin a few minutes ago, and the food we ate and the hospitality and the owner, Dan Davidson. But maybe from the road trip perspective now, the time spent in the vehicle, and Joe, thank you so much for driving.
Yeah, Joe.
You drove the entire 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours back. We made time. Like, I'm telling you, that was impressive. No stops. Not one pee break there or back.
Kirby was great because that you were going to be the worry on the pee breaks. You mentioned that.
Yeah, it's okay.
You were fine.
I have a UTI, but that's all right.
Yeah. Self-diagnosed within 24 hours.
I didn't know you can get one of those just from not peeing.
That's how you get them.
From holding your pee?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What she did get was the Emmy Award for Best Drama right there. No, listen. I love driving, so I have no problem there. But a lot of people, I just want to clear the air here on this. A lot of people were actually asking on our social media, did you guys really get in the vehicle, drive to Moosomin for lunch, and then head back? The answer is yes. That was the whole joke.
Yeah.
It was just to get on a road trip to have lunch at this place everybody was telling us about. And we'll probably do it again because we're getting a lot of suggestions about different places. Some of them are a little seasonal.
Yeah.
Like if I really want, that like an ice cream sundae or something, I think I'm going to wait till the season. Mind you, September's been pretty good.
It could be a series, a road trip series.
Probably, it'll be an annual thing, I would say, if anything. But thank you for the suggestions.
So now, yesterday, when we had decided to pick a date and go, Kirby's schedule was clear. Mine was clear till a certain point. And then hockey popped up for you. So all of a sudden, it changed the parameters on time, on how late we were going to be there. So we left at a decent time yesterday. And I think we shaved, it looked like about maybe an hour and 15 minutes off the whole trip, just in travel time.
Yeah,
Because it moved pretty good.
And they were quick at the Red Barn. Like we had allotted more time to be there, but the food came out fast. It was great.
Tell you, and that's probably on purpose now that I think about it, because they had a lot of Manitoba plates and a lot of people traveling that they probably want to get you in and out of there. Otherwise, you won't make the stop, right? How many times you're on a long road trip? Okay, we met this gentleman, Bob and Gail.
Oh my gosh, yes.
As soon as we walked in, they were standing there. They're Manitobans. They were heading home from Banff. Gail says, oh, Bob's a big fan of yours, you guys. He listens to you every morning. We left Banff like a day early because we knew you guys were coming here, and they met us at the Red Barn, and we got a nice picture with Bob and Gail. That was awesome.
Was so cool.
Then we hear from Jeff, a longtime listener on the Boston Pizza text line, that his girlfriend was on her way to Moose Jaw to the spa with a friend, and we walked right past them on the way out, and they didn't stop us. They were too shy. That's too bad.
Yeah.
We were yelling Manitoba in the parking lot. Nothing to be shy about.
Absolutely. So it was
fun.
It was bopping yesterday at the Red Barn.
The only thought I might have an issue with was on the way back, Kirby sat in the front. And this is how the trip started.
That was a bad decision.
I mean,
you sat in the front. I couldn't.
For the way there, I gotta say, I sat quietly in the back.
You did not sit quietly.
You were on your phone.
You talked.
I was on my phone, but I barely talked.
The first hour, 90 minutes, you talked the whole time.
That was hard. And then on the way back, that's when I had the spotlight. I was in the front seat with JoJo.
You're always in the spotlight.
The spotlight started with this. I was just turning right onto the main road back on before I got into the perimeter, so I had to get my glasses out. I had to get my sunglasses out, not my regular glasses, because it became sunny. So I started cleaning my glasses, and all I get is, wow, you're moving around too much. You're shifting around because, you got to get comfortable in your seat. And what did you say? Oh, my God, your glasses. And I said, well, no one's helping me clean my glasses, so I'm doing it myself.
That's what I said. The passenger's job, as I said, you're moving around too much, man. You're supposed to be driving.
There's a lot happening
Not
up
a
there.
peep on the ride out there about the driving. All of a sudden, I'm getting criticized.
And the temperature became a quick issue, too.
Oh, my God.
Too hot,
I felt like I was going through menopause in the front seat.
You felt. All I know is it was on auto, which means it's like a thermostat in your house. But all of a sudden, we had it down to 19, up to 22. Then we had it off. Then we had the fan down one. Oh, how do you get the fan up? Oh, just hit the arrow up. It's pretty simple. This is what I dealt with on the first 15 minutes on the ride home.
Phil just put his earphones in.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't have earphones. But otherwise, it was 100%.
We bonded, okay?
We did. Come on, hug it out.
$400 up for grabs. A GC from Shoppers Drug Mart. How fantastic would this be? We're going to give you 3 products. Oh, excuse me. Need some cough drops.
Well, you know where to get them.
You're damn right.
Give me a pack while you're there today.
I've only had a cough for 4.5 months.
You've got your Optimum card?
Yes, I do. Okay, so we're going to give you 3 items. Throw them in a cart. You got to tell us what these cost before taxes and no sale prices combined on the text line 762-555, and we'll take the closest price. A lot of people wind up getting it, and then we throw you in the randomizer. I will go first, and I'm going OG here. Old school, baby. Polysporin triple antibiotic cream, heal fast formula.
You got a wound?
No, but I'll tell you what. When I was a kid, I wish my parents had Polysporin because my dad used to put some like antiseptic on, like when you scraped her.
Oh, like hydrogen peroxide?
Yeah, like something that hurt, like really bad. And he'd be like, "That's enough crying." Like he's rubbing it on you.
That or
like,
iodine. Iodine also sucks.
So no Polysporin.
That's pretty easy.
When I was a kid, but nowadays, you just rub that on
My
there.
father would make me bite down on a piece of leather and pour alcohol all over the wound. Like it was right out of
Rambo.
right out of a John Wayne movie.
My Nana super glued my back together.
That's right, the stitches.
Yeah.
All right, Kirby, go ahead.
I'm tired this morning, so I want the Life brand Retinol Hydro Gel Eye Mask.
The whole mask.
Well, they're just like things that go underneath your eyes.
That's nice.
Yeah, to give you a little, like, instead of being puffy, it will give you a nice little
Yours aren't that puffy.
revitalization.
Yeah, okay,
Good for you.
So that's the Life brand Retinol Hydro Gel Eye Mask.
Because sometimes you come in here and it looks like you've been in a heavyweight fight, right? With the eyes, like all of us. You have the eyes. If you're on a tear the night before and the eyes get really puffy.
I might just keep those on. Can you get me some? 24 hours a day, just the retinol mask.
Some days I look like a heavy... Okay,
no,
well...
all 3 of us.
I'm going to look into a new concealer here.
Yeah. Well, hey, you got to be honest with each other. Yeah. We're friends.
This room, we're honest.
I'll tell you what, because Phil just triggered me on trivia when you said, hey, it's hockey tryout time. I know both your boys are in the middle of it right now. So no better time to learn from Uncle Joe about tough acting, tenactin, because you got to have it in your bag, okay?
Oh, my God, Joe.
That's right. And you know it.
Spray the feet.
Well, here's the deal. I'm not buying the gel or the cream. We're going right to the spray. Tough actin, tenactin, chill liquid spray, antifungal treatment. Kids, you got to have it in your bag. The 113-gram can.
Like a lot of them wear the flip-flops into the shower.
Yeah.
But mine,
That's smart.
Mine wasn't going to it. I'm like, dude, those showers are disgusting. You got to wear the flip-flops in the shower if you're going to shower at the rink.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, lock it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.